Welcome to part 2.
Okay, so for this video I thought I'd basically just make a quick overview of how I've put most of the helmet together already. So you can see here I got myself a cheap soldering iron and I'm literally just plastic welding the inside of the helmet together. Now I'm aware this isn't a very nice looking job, but you're not going to see the inside of the helmet, so that doesn't really matter too much. But a word of advice, if you're going to do this for your own 3D prints, please wear a rebreather or do it in a well ventilated area, because plastic fumes are horrible for your lungs and it will damage you, so please do this responsibly. The next piece I had to work on was this chin piece. Now you can see there's this little vent cover that goes over it, but it's actually not quite big enough. There's a bit missing at the bottom, and also just this entire piece looks very ugly. There's lots of loose strands of filament just sort of coming out, but this was where the support structure was. However, I took my soldering iron and went over a piece of it just to see what it looked like, and I thought I did a pretty good job, but when I brought it into the light, you can see it's actually quite bumpy and sort of still horrible looking. However, I'm just going to file this down in the future and then hopefully fill it, and that will fix most of the problems. This is the original chin piece, and this is the new one that I printed. And if I take this over to the helmet and put it on here, you can see that this actually fits pretty well. First time, which was a relief because this was my first try printing a new piece. I just changed it into software and tried it on the helmet. So I glued that on and then moved on to this piece. This is the mohawk, the piece that goes on the top of the helmet, and as you can see I had to print this in two pieces, and there's a massive gap right down the middle of it, which is very ugly looking and we need to get rid of it. So I took some all-purpose filler and filled the top of it. Now this is still wet and very messy looking, so I waited for that to dry and then came back a little bit later. I did go over it again with another layer of filler and waited for that to dry and then sanded it down. Yeah, not looking too bad so far. Okay, this is the next piece I focused on. This is the piece that goes on the back of the helmet to sort of close it up when you're wearing it. This was originally two pieces. I just printed them both out and then sellotaped them together so that it was flush with itself, and then plastic welded the inside together. There's not a lot of work needs to be done here, but I'll probably come back to it in the future, but for now, it's fine. The next thing I wanted to focus on was the actual full helmet itself, and as you can see there's a lot of gaps that run straight across the helmet, so even though I've plastic welded it together on the inside, there are still some seams that are showing, which means I'll need to fill these as well. So I went ahead and did that, and this was the pretty much finished result. I will probably go over it again with some filler just to make sure I filled all the gaps properly, but for now I think this looks pretty good. I'm also aware this looks very polygon looking, it's not smooth all over, but I will probably just go ahead and paint this and prime it anyway just to see what it looks like when it's fully completed, and then make another one in the future, and then sand it down and do that one a little bit more properly. This is just a test at the moment. Okay, so this is most of the helmet pretty much made already. There's not really much other work I need to do on this except for sort of gluing this top mohawk piece on. But that literally just needs to be glued on there and then that's it, it's done. Also this, the neck piece, that needs some magnets or something in the back of it, and some in the back of the helmet, or a clip or something that I could hide under there so that when I've got the helmet on and I have to put this piece on, I can just clip it in there, or have someone else help me clip it on, and just sort of leave it and not have to worry about messing around too much. Other than that, I will probably just go ahead and prime and paint this. I'm aware that this, like I said earlier, that this is still sort of very polygon looking. There's a lot of sort of bumpy textures on it all over, but that doesn't really matter to me too much. This is still sort of a test area. This is obviously the first one I've made, so I'm probably going to have to make another one of these, and if I do, I will sand that all over and then paint and fill and prime and all that stuff to make it look a little bit more professional than this one does. But for now I just kind of want to see what this one looks like when it's painted and it's got all its colours on it. So yes, I will try the electronics on this as well, but for now I just want to do the paint just to see what it'll look like. Also, thank you very much to Jace1969, I think, on Thingiverse for making this available for free. This is a really awesome model, and yeah, I wouldn't have this without his contribution to actually putting it on the internet, so thank you for this, it looks great. So far that's pretty much it. New video coming soon, don't know when it'll be, probably either showing sort of the completed or more completed version of this, or another piece of the armour. Hopefully another piece of the armour, because I've kind of spent enough time on the helmet so far, would like to do something else. Yeah, thanks for watching.